You are now entering Paleo Radio.
To Paleo Radio with your hosts Jeremiah Bannister and Joe Elder.
It's a new day. It's a new time. It's a new Paleo Radio. Welcome, folks, to the nightlife. I am Joe Elder.
I'm Jeremiah Bannister.
And this is the new time for Paleo Radio, folks. We're going 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here in studio, 95.3 FM, 1680 a.m. The world is a-changing, and so are we.
It's going to be amazing, man. It's a completely different feel, I think.
It is.
Yeah, actually, we were saying that coming in. We were looking around and kind of seeing things because we had to get the code. I mean, this is such a new thing. There's not anybody here, except for all the bodyguards. And, we had to get in. And when we walked in, it was all dark and everything, and all the lights are kind of glowing. And it's just reminding me of how cool it is. I grew up in radio with my dad being a manager of a station. And we used to go at all different times. I'd go so early in the morning that the sun wouldn't even be up yet. And, so I got to see these lights flickering and glowing on all of this technology and equipment all around. And I got a really cool shot. If I can, maybe later, I'll go ahead and post it on our Facebook, which, by the way, is verified. And so if you go and you check out Paleo Radio, it's one word. If it doesn't have that little check mark, it's totally fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
not us.
And oddly enough, the equipment in here is the exact same equipment your father was using back then. No, I'm just kidding. No,
yeah, it's a little true.
But it is completely different to be on the nighttime hour. What we're hoping, though, is if there are people that have the time that are listening now that they're not working on those first shifts, if they would like to call in, you guys can, 616-656-1680. You're not hearing this wrong. This is live here, 10 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Yes.
I mean, we have to remind you, so many people are probably thinking we're doing the hook for the 10 a.m. show. We are live.
Right now.
And we have quite a bit to talk about.
We do. And, it's just, we have a lot to talk about. And it was weird, man, because for the first time in forever, being able to just enjoy the Monday and read the news as it comes in on Monday and talk about it. And it was weird taking a shower before the show, you know, and having dinner before the show and getting everybody organized. It was just, it was really different. It was really awesome. But, dude, we've got a whole bunch of these topics to talk about. Yes.
Speaking of the advantage of doing the show later on a Monday, one of our stories, we're not going to get into it too far, but the removal of Mr. Scaramucci already.
Oh, it's totally
10 days
true.
in.
It's totally true.
Yeah, and we wouldn't even be able to cover that. That wouldn't have happened by 10 a.m. today.
It wouldn't have. Yeah, we would have had something, and a lot of people would have just thought a lot of what we talked about was completely irrelevant.
That's right.
They'd have been like, "We're already off. We're on to the mooch at this point, fellas.
We're already talking about the mooch."
So now we don't have that problem.
Yes, but
the morning people will talk about stuff that we're talking about.
There it is.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's kind of awesome.
But we do have the Scaramucci issue. He's been moved out, or just kind of the ring around the rosy that's been going on the last few days at the White House.
Yeah, we've got the Terminator come to life.
Yes.
Facebook shuts down artificial intelligence after it developed its own language. This is over at Inquisitor. Very alarming a little bit interesting to realize it's speaking in code.
Yeah. Well, and this may tie into a little bit of geek battle that's been going on Twitter between Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk about artificial intelligence. And where Elon Musk says that Mr. Zuckerberg is not really taking into consideration the actual dangers that artificial intelligence brings up, that it could very well be detrimental to us if we don't monitor it and monitor it correctly. And Mark Zuckerberg seems to feel a little bit differently. So it does play into that Facebook is the company that did this.
He wants everybody in the Matrix.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's the first one to see it. But I've just been notified by Angela. She's part of the production, and more than that, she's totally my wife. My rockin' hot, sexy, half Asian wife. It's totally true. But she handed me this number, and apparently there's a promo. There's a new station promo here, or whatever, talking about a new number. Oh, there's not a new number. Okay, there's a new number right here. I'm supposed to notify everybody of this brand new number, because ordinarily you would call the old one that we're not even going to say. Okay? We're not even going to say that out loud. Okay? There's phone issues. So,
I see.
if you have your phone, and this is really urgent, we normally don't just cut into table of contents that way to the show. But this is
how we do it. It's
this is
nighttime
urgent,
anyways.
and I'm totally not going to be like, I'm sorry, sweetheart, not going to say anything about this. So here's the thing. People, if they want to get on the show, and you're going to want to because you need to get on for question of the day.
Of course.
Question of the night.
Question of the night.
Question of the night.
Wow, that sounds
yeah.
even better. Sounds risque.
It is a little
question
bit.
of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I kind of like
question of the night. We're going to go ahead and have that. And if you have the answer to it, you'll be able to dip your paws into the highly coveted, world-famous Paleo Radio prize vault. Tons and tons of amazing goodies in there. But the number, you have to write this down. Okay, so get out your pen, kind of like the old Bill Cosby show. What was that?
I don't know,
Yeah.
but I don't know if I want the reference.
Yeah, he had that little bumblebee, pen filled
Anything
with
with
drugs.
him and something in his hands, we don't even need to get into it.
Yeah, that. So you
okay.
got it. Yeah, you got to get your pen and your pencil. You got to get that stuff together because here's the number. You got to type it down. Here you go. 616-656-2619.
2619.
2619. It rolls out the mouth kind of like some bricks.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Ugh.
yeah,
Man, that's
616-656-2619 to call in tonight because of some phone issues. But even if you have trouble with the phone, you can get a hold of us on social media. We have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have it up. We're watching. So if you guys are listening, you can definitely talk to us through that. But I do believe we may be getting calls already.
We're already getting phone calls, and it's one of those that's like from 24 where it does that brr, brr in the background because we're basically in the newsroom for us.
It is. It's the red phone.
It's the bat phone.
So let's go back to our topics.
Yeah. How the pivot to video, speak of a transition, dude, how the pivot, wink, wink, to video is transforming the job market.
Yes. And
What is...
That one's really interesting, though, because that's a play on what we were talking about last week with MTV moving shorter to the shorter films. And I think it also plays in a little bit of our boy, Mr. Postman.
It does.
Because it's talking about how we're seeing mediums adapting to that shorter version, that little 30-second clip, something that a man in 1970 was calling out, a communication genius, I guess you would call him. But still, yeah, there's a lot to be said there. There's also some issues with whooping cough spreading amongst Amish people in West Michigan.
Well, that's really weird, dude. I thought that the Amish people didn't get diseases or anything because they ate that whole food.
Yeah, They
I
eat
hear
plants
this all the time. I hear that what we need a lot of vitamin C, and we basically need to just do stuff outdoors because the Amish don't get sick.
Yeah, the Amish don't
I've
get
heard
sick.
it, man.
Yeah, that is a lie. Is what that is.
Yeah, it's a terrible one, and there's like 30 of them, and I don't mean to be laughing at people's demise, okay? But at the same time, there's a political dynamic that the Amish, whether they like it or not, the people outside their community use them to defend their claims against vaccines and other things.
Yes, they do.
And yet they need to read stuff like this and really factor that in an honest way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and I think it's worth a good, solid, sober look at it. And then there's also a couple issues here with toxic fires across the country. Military sites burn hazardous waste into the open air. Mm-hmm. So we're going to cover that. That's going to be interesting.
Opioids in Michigan, man. This is crazy. Opium. Yeah, opium addiction. Opioid addiction quintupled since 2010.
Wow.
And 10 other findings in new study, and this is over at MLive.
Yeah.
From Michigan, yeah.
So that one's another one that hits home here in Grand Rapids or in Michigan. Then there's also Walter Jones appealing to the president to get us out of Afghanistan, but on top of that, he uses the president's quotes, which is pretty snazzy of him.
Pretty snazzy. Very clever to do.
Yes.
Then we've got old R. Kelly. He's in the news for holding women against their will in a cult. This is according to parents and people who've told the police. This was actually given to me by Angela. Angela sent me this article, and I was kind of like, where'd you get this? And then I said, BuzzFeed News? That might be true.
Yeah.
It's tabloidy, but hey.
Hey, but it's been carried through The Guardian. A couple other places have been talking about it, where there is, I think, a little bit of legitimacy to that.
Yeah, you got to just kind of find out what's going on with that.
Yes, we do. We do. And then the last topic that we're going to cover, if we have time, is the study links longer football careers to more severe cases of CTE. So that one is going to be a really scary one.
Yeah, a total scary one,
especially as an athlete that played football 6th to 12th grade.
The numbers that you were talking about are staggering.
They are very staggering.
Oh, totally mind-blowing.
Let's add to this that a couple professional athletes quit after the study came out instantly. One of them, I believe, was a Pro Bowler. He quit instantly right off the line, and he's gone. He's
Imagine
done with
the
football.
family conversations, man.
Oh, man.
That would have to take place if you're a guy and or just the thoughts inside your head. If you're not a family guy, the thoughts inside your head that you're like, dude, those numbers ain't no joke. And the group that I'm working for and kind of organizing all of this, they've kind of been fudging some numbers.
Yes, they have. And also,
Big time.
There's a culture to be played into it, too, that we all know, where football players will not disclose the injuries that they have because they want to play. They will try to act like they haven't been hurt, or they don't want the other team to know or be at an advantage if they do know that they're rocked, so they actually pretend like they're not and play out plays where the quarterback just got jacked and he's really rocked, so we're going to do a handoff. But he's got to look like he's good because he's got a couple snaps to get out of it. You know what I mean? And that mentality also plays into it as well. So there's a lot there. There's a lot to cover.
We're going to cover a whole bunch of that. If we want, we can go right away to a phone call. We got about 3.5 minutes.
We do. We've got Pete and GR calling from Belmont. How are you doing, Pete?
Yeah. Are you there, Pete? Yeah, hold on.
Yes, I am.
All right. There we go. We got you
How you
now.
doing, Pete?
Yeah.
All right. Scaramucci, he was hired for 10 days. He got to divest all his business. And isn't there a huge tax deduction if you do that, if you go in the government?
There is.
Is that what it's all about?
That's a very good question,
and
Pete.
all these firings that is going on in the Trump, it could be all a big cash thing.
I think you've got something there in the idea that I wonder if Scaramucci is actually going to – is there a statute of limitations in terms of if that's just for one day, is he able to do it? For him being in there for a 10-day stint, is he allowed to get that massive tax break on his businesses?
And can he go back to work at Wall Street?
I think he can.
Yeah. That is –
it's good. It would be a good thing for you guys to investigate or talk to somebody else about it because – I'm just one guy out here.
Yeah. Well, I do appreciate the call, Pete. Is there anything else you want to share with Scaramucci?
Well, no.
Yeah.
I don't know him. I think it was the scam of the Donald Trump presidency.
Yeah. Well, I think you bring up a good point. Thank you very much for the call. And I do agree. I think that there's something to the idea that he went in there and maybe it was even a planned 10-day stint. Maybe it was even a planned 10-day stint. You know, where it was, hey, come in here, I'll get you a massive tax break, you get out. I doubt it. I mean, the only reason I doubt it is I'm not saying that he won't reap the absolute benefits of getting those tax breaks, but at the same time, he also was wildly inappropriate with a reporter twice.
Well, and ridiculous.
Way.
I mean, come on. I mean, and I just, from a journalistic perspective, as someone who went to school for it and someone who also spent a long time in kind of with activism and everything, saying the idea that someone in politics at that level would trust a journalist. The idea of, well, this is the last journalist I'm ever going to trust. This kind of attitude. What kind of posturing do you have toward the media? Like, what are you thinking,
Where do you think they are? Like, where do you think they come from?
Yeah, like what kind? That's a weird concept. The idea, the way that he even kind of framed members of the media in conversations, that he felt that was just a way that you could talk to them. I mean, look, I'm sorry you learned that lesson at such a high level, but goodness gracious alive.
He also contacted that same Washington Post. It was a New York Post, I believe. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. The exact rag the person was writing for there. But the person
New Yorker, I think,
he called that person and also asked them to disclose one of their sources to him, one of the leaking sources out of the White House. And he said, like, this is an American issue. You should disclose this to me. Yeah. And then he also threatened to fire everybody in the communications staff if this person didn't disclose it. And I'll have to look up the article. They
Ryan
wrote
Lee's,
about it. Yes.
Scary Moochie called me to unload about
Yes.
White House leakers, Reince Priebus, and Steve Bannon. He started by threatening to fire the entire White House communication staff. It escalated from there, and let me put in an asterisk. He got the all out. He's done.
That's right.
He's done today.
That's right. We'll share a little bit more of this after the break, but we'll move on to many, many other topics. Thanks for joining us tonight. We are Paleo Radio.
Love Paleo Radio? Join the club. Support our work by visiting patreon.com/Paleo Radio today.
Back to Eagle and Dragon.
Welcome back to Paleo Radio, live in studio, 95.3 FM, 1680 AM. To call in, 616-656-2619, everybody.
Yeah.
2619 is the last four, if you want to join the conversation.
It's a fancy change, not only going from morning to night, which I think is good.
Yeah.
I do. I really think, as much as it's kind of cool to do the morning thing and to be an alternative locally to Glenn Beck on another prominent station here in town, kind of on a different side of things here locally, to be at night in a position where we are opposed to Ground Zero. Is it Ground Zero at 10?
Is. I believe so.
I'm not entirely sure, but it's if not, it's ramping up for it. It's getting, it's getting people nice and frothy.
So we're hoping to deliver at least a couple hours of reason late at night in Grand Rapids as opposed to some of that.
Well, and people just be able to say, look, I enjoy being able to talk about these issues and to be able to kind of dance around and do some ballet on the outskirts of some weirdness. But also to be really, really rock solid on the idea of logic and reason and saying that evidence really does prevail.
That's right.
That's the way that we look at it. And it's an accessible show, of course. You're welcome to call. And we encourage people to give us a call, especially next segment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially the next segment.
Especially the next one.
Because at 10:30, when we come back, at 10:30 p.m., we are going to be giving out the question of the day. Mm-hmm. And if you win the question of the day, you get to dip your hands into that fancy schmancy prize vault, which is everything your heart desires. It's all in there.
Yeah.
Your wildest dreams come true inside the prize vault. No Google when we give you this, too. That was from Angela. Thank you for the reminder. Yeah, you can't use the Google machines. You cannot cheat. It will ask a question that we're hoping you can use your brain. It will be an organic solution to the puzzle. So that's what we're hoping for.
Well, and when we talk about this whole prize vault and the question of the day, we've had some really, really awesome exchanges with the people who've won.
Yeah.
You know, and actually we've even had someone who won but didn't even want a prize.
Yeah.
Right? We did. I mean,
did.
It's totally true. We had that.
And we're happy they called in. That was great.
Yes,
Good to
we're
share
happy
the
that they
time.
called in, you know, but the idea that we have this amazing prize vault, we actually just shared a picture today of one of our winners, Nancy, because she came and she visited with her family, and it was just really cool to get to meet her. We also got a picture sent to us over the last week of Sherwin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Sherwin, he won as well. He's also one of our followers on Facebook, but he won a prize, and we sent something out to him, and he got a book called The God Delusion.
The God Delusion.
Yes.
Dawkins.
And he sent a picture where he's seated in the center of his couch, and he's reading The God Delusion. His two kids, one flanked on the right and one flanked on the left, that they are reading Bill Nye the Science Guy. And he sent something about how supporting science and reason, and that he's a big fan, of course, of Paleo Radio. So we're serious about this. When next segment comes... When next segment comes and you hear that question of the day, you better get to that phone real fast because the prize vault, people are finally getting it, man. I think there's been blood in the water finally a little.
Yeah, I think people are seeing it. Well,
yeah.
And to be honest, too, I can say this with confidence. Our prize vault is the shiz. I mean,
Yes.
it's great. There's some really cool stuff in there that actually costs money. There's also ridiculous stuff in there that costs nothing. We have Anchorman baseball cards with Ron Burgundy on them and Champ Kine, and from that to vinyl records to VHSs,
And that's
Spaceballs from the late '80s.
That's what we had a winner. What in Tennessee chose the Science of Good and Evil by Shermer. You also have someone in Florida. What are they? Oh, the winner in Florida. They wanted the Anchorman cards, and in fact, sent it. And the options were this, and this is for real. We have Anchorman baseball cards. That's what they look like, right? Baseball cards are that nice feel to them, good and thick. And said, look, you can pick from 2 commons, quote unquote, or from the secret stash. And the secret stash has Ron Burgundy, and it has what's his name, Home Slice from
Ed Harkin, but it's got
Ed
the guy
Harkin.
from
Yeah.
that's his name on Anchorman, but it's got
I love his character in Best in Show. Best
Yes.
one. My favorite character
Yep.
in Best in Show. He's the announcer of the competition, and his dialogue is hilarious.
Yes.
Absolutely hilarious. But he could choose from that, but he chose 2 commons, and we can pick for him. He's going to get those. Those are going to be a nice little vinyl sheets that you can stick them in and then put into a plastic one to ensure that it's the highest quality that
Yes.
he's possibly going to get.
and you can preserve them for many, many years
Yes,
to
for
come.
for many years. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to sign, we're going to send a letter, all of that. And these are cards. We say, aha, it's fun. There's baseball cards and everything else. There's books. Nancy, she walked off with Cosmos.
Yeah.
Man, that's an expensive
That's
book.
not cheap.
No, that's super expensive. Life
It even
on
has
Earth.
glitter on the front of it almost. It's epic.
It's epic. I mean, so you look and you say, man, there are books in there that are worth serious loot.
Yes, there are.
Yes,
There are.
and it is a treasure trove that's a major wide thing. I know I've said that some people who've won have selected things like Dawkins and things like that, but we have stuff ranging, even Christian stuff, like hardcore Catholic stuff. We have many different saints and doctors of the church, different Bibles. In fact, we have, I think the other Bible is part of that, where it's the books that didn't make it into the canon. Right, at least a number of the books that didn't make it into the canon. They were heterodox. And so those are in there. Even books of Christian apologetics. Because we have people who believe in Jesus who listen to the show.
Yes, we do.
We're in Grand Rapids, man.
Yeah, how's that not possible?
It's going to happen just because, look, you got a guy, a former Methodist and a former hodgepodge minister pastor guy hosting a show. It's going to, you're going to have people in this kind of a town who are going to listen. And you know what? They have stuff in the prize vault for them.
Yeah, they do.
Big time.
Yes.
Yes.
Some old apologist stuff for you.
Yeah.
That you've got. Yes.
It's true.
Yeah. So anyways, the prize vault is epic. It is everything we're saying and more, to be sure. And if there's something that you want to come out of the prize vault that you didn't see, you can also suggest it to us. But we've only got about 6 more minutes before the end of this segment here. So I want to jump back into Mr. Scaramucci a little bit. It's a Guardian article. Trump removes Anthony Scaramucci as White House Communications Director. This was as of today. It says Director Anthony Scaramucci has been removed from his job after just 10 days in a move that has only increased the sense of chaos at the heart of the Trump administration's start to their year. The shocking development follows a turbulent series of media appearances over the last week by the combative former Wall Street financier, capped by a foul-mouthed tirade to a New Yorker journalist on Thursday. News of his rapid political demise came less than 6 hours after the appointment of former U.S. Marine John Kelly as Donald Trump's new chief of staff, which had to definitely play into it.
I mean, what an ignorant
Obviously.
guy. I asked these guys not to leak anything, and they can't help themselves. You're an American citizen. This is a major catastrophe for the American country. So I'm asking you as an American patriot to give me a sense of who leaked it. Give me a break.
That's him talking to a reporter
Wow,
saying, tell
man.
me who your sources are. I mean, think about just journalistic theory here for a minute. He's calling them up saying, it's your patriotic duty to tell me who it is, or I'll fire everybody in the communication staff. Just clean house, and it will be your fault. I mean, it's just wild. And plus, it's a very, very ignorant sense of how journalism works.
Well, you can, and the thing is, somebody can agree with them and say, yes, man, you're an American citizen. This is a major catastrophe for this country. Look around you. I'm asking you, as a patriot, give me at least a sense of who leaked it. I can hear sincerity in those words. You can hear a heart that's literally freaking out, right? And saying, this is nuts. This is crazy. I'm at wit's end and all of that. At the same time, boo-hoo. I mean, I'm no offense, man. You are at the top of the game here. You are at the White House, champ. Okay? There's a lot of different forces at play here. There are a lot of different interests at play. There are a lot of different values at play. And I've been a critic of a lot of this kind of thing. I've even theorized that it's a deep state kind of coup-ish thing, right? Continuity of government sort of thing going on. I've peddled this.
Not ground zero level
I've peddled
conspiracy
it a little.
theory, but you've peddled it a little. But
Yeah.
I think there could be, it's at least a meritable conversation that's worth talking about.
And we will at some point.
And
There's
I
no,
think
we should.
we definitely
need to.
will.
We definitely need to do it. You know, but to say, look, you know, even if it's true, that's not the rhetoric that's going to do it. And it ain't a good idea to say, look, I'm at wit's end. I'm going to call a journalist from the New Yorker. I mean, this guy is on crack.
Yes, he is.
He's
Well,
out of his
cocaine most
mind.
likely, just because of the differences.
Oh,
But
yeah.
No. No, but he's
wears
definitely
aviators.
you know, running the lines. I mean, the guy was nuts. And also, when he talked to that New Yorker reporter, and he said that Steve Bannon was trying to suck his own member, which was disgusting and wrong. I even churched that one up for you guys. That's not even what he said.
Yeah.
You know, and the other thing too is it wasn't just him. Him leaving sparked the ouster of Sean Spicer and Reince Priebus. Most likely, both of them saying that they disagreed with his style so much that they were willing to leave if he came in. They bring him in, they dip. 10 days later, he's gone. You know, and this is just to speak to the humanity of it. We were talking about this in the middle of the break, and I don't even know Scaramucci from Peter or Paul. I don't know this man. But I'll tell you what, even though he was foul-mouthed, even though I think he's got an ignorant sense of journalism, and I don't think he ever should have even been near the position that he was in, the man in 10 days had a child born that he couldn't see because he was on the Air Force One, because it was his first 7 days holding the highest communication position you can in the country. And then a file for divorce, and then today he gets fired. In 10 days, 3 what could be life-shattering events for anybody happened consecutively to him in a 10-day span. That's pretty wild. I mean, I feel for the guy. I really do. And I'm not making an apology for how wildly inappropriate he was or for the idea that they fired him, but it's
he offers
that's
his
a lot.
resignation. And you know what? That's a fair thing to give the guy and say, look, okay, he resigned. It's an obvious thing that he has to. There is not one professional that I can imagine that would say, hey, man, all of that came out.
This.
We're sticking it through.
Let's fight this, buddy.
You're just going to keep sticking by us, man. No,
Get on the picket line with me, bro.
You're going to say, look, you got to resign. We will respect you. We will wish you the best on your marriage. And with your child, this child that's come into the world, we want to wish you the best on that. We are going to be watching you closely because we don't want to kind of have any sly stuff going on, and there's some things maybe to need some investigation maybe. At the same time, that's what's going to happen, and that's what did happen.
Yeah, it is what happened. And there's a little bit of an argument to be made that John Kelly wants to have an absolute clean slate. I mean, he's basically saying, if you want me to do this, I need to work with somebody who's a little bit more respectable than this monster. And that's exactly what happened. And we can hate the Trump administration. I mean, I can openly say I do, but I will say one thing. I'm happy that John Kelly's there, because if there's any sanity, it's going to come from him. Hello, folks. I'm Joe Elder of Paleo Radio.
And I'm Jeremiah Bannister.
Thank you guys for listening to our show. It's every Monday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time,
where we talk about politics, religion, culture, and science.
Yeah, we also have documentarians and comedians on the show. It's a swell event.
So make sure to tune in every Monday, 10 to noon Eastern Standard Time, right here on Public Reality Radio.
Now back to Joe and Jeremiah.
It's kind of weird coming in from Nathan's boisterous voice.
Yes.
And I got to see that guy right before the show.
It's boisterous.
Yeah, it's boisterous. Yeah, and I hate bringing this up in light of this, but this is a true thing. And for people who are familiar with this show, they know that my daughter, Angela, and our daughter, Samantha, died of brain cancer just over a year ago. That the year anniversary of that was just last week, actually, and the year anniversary of her funeral was on my wife's birthday. We found out, what was it, last week?
Pretty much on my birthday.
Yeah, okay, pretty much on her birthday, to add to this. that my sister has breast cancer. Yeah. My sister's her name is Crystal. She is younger than me. She's the middle of 3, and she's pregnant. So I want people to keep Crystal in your thoughts and even in your prayers. I know that people here believe some of that stuff. And we have my sister is Eastern Orthodox. And so, for people to do their thing, they've invited that. They've invited people to join them on their journey with this. And this is a new thing for us. This is another new thing. Childhood brain cancer was new. There was nobody in our family that we knew of that suffered from this. Same thing with breast cancer. There's no woman that we know of in our families collectively that are suffering from this, that have this. And so in this way, both of them are first, and they happen within a year's time. And so my heart definitely goes out to my sister. I love her with all of my heart, and I love her. And she, by the way, yes, Angela is writing this down for me. Thank you so much. My sister is having a C-section on Friday. And so they're taking the baby out, 34 weeks? 34 or 35, because they can't start treatment until the baby is out.
Okay.
And so that needs to happen. So there's a whole bunch going on. If you want to learn more about this, I'm not going to give out their page, but you can follow us at Paleo Radio. We might share some stuff there. But you can also follow us at mine at facebook.com/Jeremiah.Bannister. And so we'll make that available on Paleo Radio. And again, that's facebook.com/Paleo Radio. It's got the verified check mark. We'll make that available there. And that way, at least everybody can kind of go to one place and find it. But I thank everybody who's reached out to me, in fact, over this. And there's been a couple people who reached out from organizations, organizational heads, a couple pastors, in fact, from outside the state that have taken the time to call and just to tell me that I'm in their thoughts and that my sister is in their thoughts over all this, that they saw the news, and they just wanted to reach out. And so we talked, and it was a really, really, really good time talking to them, and I appreciate them. I'll leave their names private for the sake of the show. But I just wanted to say that. I'm sorry to come in.
Yeah.
As I said, man, I mean, it's like you never want to follow up Nathan that way, but at the same time, I mean, you don't ever want to say this about anybody, and I'm saying it about my sister.
Yeah.
And I hate cancer. I hate cancer with all of my heart. And so I and my wife, we're really, really grateful. And it's really actually spurred me on to work really diligently on my daughter's book. And I've been working on that, in fact, and we're going to start getting some status updates out to do with Samantha's book, because that's a difficult task. We're putting together timelines and themes and things like this, layouts, and all of that is in the works right now. Okay, so that's happening, and that's going to be, I think that's going to help, because this is tough. There's a lot of things going on. So thank you to everybody for the love. Thank you for the thoughts. Thank you for the messages and the calls and the emails. And keep following our story. Thank you.
And we'll keep thinking about your sister. I mean, obviously, it does stink. It hits home. It's a unfortunate thing, but not an insurmountable thing. So our thoughts are going out, and we're just hoping for the best. In this case,
show's over.
We can move on to an odd
show's over. Bye
but...
bye, Joe. I'm going bye bye now. yeah, I think that's over. But thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, I can. Now we're hitting into the good stuff. This is going into question of the day, which we promised. We're a little bit late here, but that's all right. Obviously, for very good and important reasons. Mm-hmm. Question of the day today is: what is the name of someone who shoes horses?
Yeah, this is a good one.
Now, for those country folk, I'm sure this one's going to be an easier one. But to answer the question, actually, I should correct myself. Question of the night.
Yeah, question of the night.
To answer the question of the night, you have to call in 616-656-2619 to answer it for us. Again, the question is, what is the name of someone who shoes horses? And if you win, you get to get your hands into the amazing Paleo Radio Vault. And it's going to be great.
Yeah. So you got to make sure to give us a call, and as we described, we won't go into any more detail about that. We went into nearly orgasmic detail earlier about the prize vault and how you can just dip your paws into it like Scrooge McDuck does into his pool of gold coins and find really great things. So again, give us a call, and if you've got the answer to that question, but the rule is no Google.
No Google.
Okay, and don't be sly and use some other kind of search engine and be like, well, I was using Bing.
Yeah. The point of this is to use your brain.
Yeah.
Use the old noggin. Try to figure that one out. Again, 616-656-2619 to call in. In the meantime, we will talk about something that is not great news. Opioid addiction has quintupled since 2010, and 10 other findings in a new study. And this is from MLive. This is one of the hometown papes here.
Yeah, by Julie Mack. And I'll tell you, this is just heartbreaking. And this hits home. I mean, we've talked about this before on the show, and I've talked about how I've known people, even within the last couple of years, probably 3-4 different people who've died from overdoses from this. And I know probably 4 or 5 more who went and ended up having to go to therapy for addiction.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, a lot of them going to heroin, in fact.
It's cheaper.
I have a friend, and I won't go into detail about this, but I have a friend who's doing a real good job, and she went to therapy because of my daughter's story. But that girl went through pretty hellacious stuff. I mean, talking about losing a house, losing your car, basically giving it away, giving everything away for this drug, and then getting to the point where you wake up to try to find the drug and you sleep because you took the drug, and then you wake up to find the drug and you keep doing that, and then you live for a while in a tent. Yeah. And it was, she was talking to me about this, and I was literally crying. She's texting it, messaging it, but I was just bawling my eyes out. And so, I mean, this kind of thing, to see these numbers, man, are just, some of them are real devastating. It begins by saying this. An estimated 8.3 of every 1,000 Blue Cross Blue Shield members were diagnosed with opioid use disorder in 2016. Wow. 5 times the rate in 2010, according to a Blue Cross Blue Shield Association study released this week. The report, America's Opioid Epidemic and Its Effect on the Nation's Commercially Insured Population, represents a comprehensive study of medical claims from the BCBS members using opioid painkillers, as well as those diagnosed with opioid use disorder over a 7-year period. And by the way, people go, well, what's up with this Blue Cross Blue Shield in Michigan? Yeah, it's the state's largest health insurer. That's going to give you pretty good numbers on this, okay? These are 11 findings from the study. Number 1, 19% of Michigan Blue Cross members filled at least one opioid prescription in 2015.
Yeah.
Okay, so they filled at least one prescription, 1 out of every 5.
Wow. 1 out of 5.
Yeah, 1 out of 5 people needed some of those. It gives a little
20%.
Yeah. Number 2, 4% of Michigan Blue Cross members got an opioid prescription for 90 days or more.
Yeah.
So that's not the worst thing in the world, I don't think. 4%.
Yeah.
How bad is that?
Well, I'm guessing it's quintuple what it used to be.
Right.
We're close.
It's 3.8 nationally.
Yeah.
So we're worse
over.
a little over that.
Number 3, opioid addiction in Michigan is slightly below the national average.
Look at that.
In 2015, like you say, 7.9 out of every 1,000 Michigan Blue Cross enrollees were diagnosed with opioid use disorder, compared to the national rate of 8.3.
Oh, yeah. So we're not on that measure, not too bad. We're doing pretty decent, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad. Number 4, 40% diagnosed with opioid addiction were treated with methadone or other medication. And, that's a crazy drug, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a crazy drug.
That
people get addicted to that independently of the other ones.
Yeah.
And I've seen that too, right.
Just the idea of these numbers, I guess maybe I'm asking kind of the long shot question, but how does this get solved past stopping doctors from being able to prescribe opioids and back pain meds for everything? How does it stop past just saying you cannot? We are going to regulate the amount of opioids you are giving your patients, because that used to be the standard. It used to be in the 90s that doctors had a very healthy skepticism of diagnosing someone and giving them opiates as painkillers. In the early 90s, there's a fear of doing it. And now the floodgates are open. If you go in there and you say you fell down, you're going to get Vicodin. You're going to get pain meds every time. And and also this is on the total other spectrum of it, but the absolute pervasiveness of opiates is evident when you are a college kid in 2010, like I was, and it was just as easy to get Vicodin or anything else that you needed, Adderall. And I know Adderall is not an opiate, but it's the same concepts of just finding the pills prescribed from another person in droves, Jeremiah. Droves. And we all know this. But, I mean, if you think about it, how is all of that legally just getting dumped into the market?
Right.
How do you... it's
because
just a general question.
For the same reasons, I think that some of the antibiotics, that's the way antibiotics were. They were just playing fast and loose, going, well, look, I like prescribing this one because it just blasts it out of there. And you're like, well, yeah, because it's at the top of a category of these things. And
nuking every
so
time.
if you are used to that, then other ones won't be working. And now... World Health Organizations put out a standard, at least, to say, look, this is for each class of these. And I'm sorry for not using terminology correctly. If you want to correct me, you're more than welcome to call the show. We'd love to talk to you about this for realsies. But to say that this was a serious problem, it was a crisis that they'd been warning about for a long time, and now they've put out these standards for their being used and how they should be used and what order they should be used in, kind of an escalation of antibiotic power against your different maladies. And so, but what's the enforcement of that? What's the penalty for not doing it? And how many doctors just flat out won't even know? Or just won't even care?
Won't even care.
Yeah.
A lot of them, which is why I get numbers like this. Last one, number 5, nationwide, 45% of opioid prescriptions were for 90 days or more.
Wow.
So almost half of them were for 90 days or more of getting people absolutely hooked. See what we can do about this one, folks.
We'll be back just after a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere. More Paleo Radio right after this.
For debates, interviews, or speeches, contact Paleo Radio Show at gmail.com.
You love to hate 'em, you hate to love 'em. You just can't get enough of 'em, you sick freaks. Paleo Radio's on the air.
It's not often I get to eat peanuts.
Peanut Radio.
On the air, peanut radio. It's totally true. I make this delicious snack for the kids and for myself. It's supposed to last throughout the day, and it's got reasonable portions, right? It's a portion you're supposed to have. Of cashews and walnuts and almonds and peanuts and even got some of those dark chocolate covered raisins. Very selective with those. They have some salted pretzel or some yogurt pretzel that they'll chop up and kind of put in there. Very sparse amount of that. But it's super delicious, and I'm sitting there and I'm just chomping away on it, man. Just enjoying myself kind of on cloud 9 over there with my little baggie of snacks. And Angela goes, 10 seconds, guys. And I'm like, whoa, there's no way.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Yep, we're going to totally come in from a break chomping on some peanuts. That's just going to happen.
Yeah, well, that's life.
Well, hey, we have this amazing question of the day, Joe, and we need to get that pumped out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, question of the day, what is the name of somebody who shoes horses? As in, not shoe like shoe horse, get away from me. As in, they come in there and they put the actual shoes on the horse. What are they called? 616-656-2619 to call in and win your prize out of the Paleo Radio Vault.
Yep. And the Paleo Radio Vault has stuff ranging from DVDs to books to cards like basketball cards to comic books and even graphic novels. There's a whole bunch of really great things. We even have some weird stuff. I think we have a Spaceballs DVD.
Yes.
We have a $20 gift card to Brick Road Pizza. So there's a whole bunch of amazing things that you can find there. So make sure to give us a call. Again, 616-656-2619 to be part of that. Anyway, we're talking about this whole opioid thing, and not to talk about it much longer, to move on. But, man, when we went by, we were like, we got through number 5, and then I got right down to number 6, and it said diagnosis of opioid addiction increased 493%. Wow. From 2010 to 2015.
And don't we think that that's connected with the heroin epidemic that we're seeing? Because heroin's a cheap opiate.
Yes.
That's why people, they get kicked off their meds. They've been on it for a while. They have their prescription. The prescription doesn't get filled, and they need their fix. And then all of a sudden you have a heroin epidemic, which we're seeing in great numbers. I mean, it's all running along the same line, right? It's just, honestly, it's scary because it's negligence. And I know there's the idea of, and I can understand a libertarian argument where someone might be, or they may fancy themselves libertarian and think about this and say, well, hey, look, it's the individual's choice to do this, or the individual can choose to have it or not at the end of the day with doctor. And I would say that's nice, but that's not how chemicals work in your brain. That's cute, and it's a easy way of making black and white a situation that's not. These are chemical addictions in the brain. It doesn't change by just individual choices. You may choose now to have them, and then later it changes your behaviors. And so I just worry about it that we don't have enough of a structure in place to stop it, that we're going to see more and more medications for people to help them recover from overdoses than we're going to actually see the fall of people using.
You know, we were talking about people and saying the idea of a medical culture that says, what is the problem? How do we allow you to just simply live with it? And that you're able to live with it, masking it. It's a very easy kind of quick thing. You're able to say, look, I don't feel this pain. I don't feel this pain in my lower back. I'm not doing anything for my core. I'm not doing any kind of stretches. I'm not doing any yoga. I'm not doing anything that's actually making my back better. I haven't even been informed to.
No.
By doctor. I'm serious. Dead serious.
No physical therapy.
Yeah, nothing. Most of the time, not even recommendations with little paper handouts.
Yeah.
Other than the paper handout that says go to your Walgreens or your Rite Aid and get your medicine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And literally take your Soma, and that's a Brave New World reference there, folks, but take your Soma and go lay down on the couch. And I think you're dead on right. And I also think, don't get me wrong, there are people that need the painkillers. I'm not saying that they don't. But the world doesn't need the painkillers, or the United States doesn't need the painkillers at the rate that we're receiving them. That's just a fact. We know it because of the epidemic that we're seeing. That there are people that really struggle with how to handle the opiates. And like you said, they didn't go through round one of, let's see if this is something that you can work through with physical therapy. They didn't go through round two that says, let's see if maybe there's some lifestyle changes you can make to help with the pain or something like that.
And that's seriously so important.
Very important.
Yes.
Massively important.
Yeah, my back. Remember when I totally sprained my butt?
Yeah,
I was
your
playing
butt
hoops,
sprain.
my whole white chocolate thing,
Yes.
my hoop dreams.
Hoop dreams a flashing.
I did. It was a spark in the pan, man. I was there for like a week or two
You're
playing
nailing
hoops,
it.
but I was feeling great, and my back, wow, really went out really, really, really badly. And shaking and trembling and totally afraid, couldn't lay down, couldn't sit down, couldn't stand up. It was terrible. And I needed some medicine that day. I mean, there's no question about it, just to even get the spasming to stop. But after that, I was sent by the VA, I was sent to physical therapy. And in physical therapy, they worked with me, and they did things, like I had to do these kind of pelvic thrusts.
Yeah.
Don't go too far with those.
Humps.
To do some humpy humps. Yeah, that's what they called them. I think that's the technical name that the guy, my friend down there at the VA therapy department, I think he calls them.
Yeah, that's what the physical therapist says.
Give me those humpy humps, Jeremiah.
Do the Humpty Humps.
No, but they're amazing people. Yeah, they're amazing people, and they aren't telling me to hump anything. But they're telling me to do these different exercises for my core. And you know what? At first, I was like, man, I don't know. I'm kind of achy back there. But then after a while, I'm like, man, I'm feeling kind of strong back there.
Yes.
I'm doing better. And when you exercise it, when you're aware of these things, I might every once in a while put ice on it. But there's like an escalation of pain management that I think people kind of just leapfrog over a lot of things, like use some heat or use an ice pack, man. Like, learn it. Elevate it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so, too. I think you're dead right. I think there's a huge gap missing in approaching it from a more physical, hands-on standpoint of how people can be treated. Also, if you don't mind me asking, when you did sprain your butt, when they gave you pills for that, how much did they give you?
Not very much.
Yeah.
So because they knew what the plan was.
Yeah. And when they're saying over half these people, or not half, I'm sorry, I lied there, 45%. So just under half of these people are getting 90-day prescriptions.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that certain people don't need it, but just under half of all people getting prescribed them need 90 days plus with their pain meds?
Well, and I'll tell people.
BS.
I'll tell people straight up. I've said it in interviews online. If people searched hard enough, they could probably find me admitting this out loud. So I'll just say it. But I was prescribed Vicodin for what, Ange? 5 years, something like that. Like 40. It was like 40 milligrams a day of hydrocodone.
Yes.
And I went for years where every day, and like I wasn't abusing it, but at the same time,
I had access to it.
I had access.
Maybe you didn't need to have access to it.
And I would wake up and think about it. It was like the first thing on my mind. And I wasn't even sitting there abusing it. I wasn't freaking out over things. But, man, I'll tell you what. There was an occasion where a number of the pills were stolen. I was at an event, and I had my pill bottle in my bag, and a lot of the pills ended up missing. And for a number of days, I had to very rapidly kind of whittle it down and everything. I went through what at that time were the worst cramps and emotional swings and weird feelings, terrible, dreadful type feelings that I ever experienced until I just decided I'm done with this forever. It's not just, I have to deal with being under medicated and dealing with the withdrawals from not receiving my regular amount. I went through months of just nothing. Just I said, I'm done with it. I don't like this anymore. That was so hard. I would wake up in the middle of the night, Joe, and my leg would be just outstretched. If people can imagine laying on a bed, and imagine that your right leg is up at like a 45-degree angle, and your toes are pointed, right, super hard. Your legs are shaking.
Yeah.
Your right arm is raised in the air, shaking, and you wake up. You're doing it in your sleep. And you wake up because you're cramped out, man. You're hurting so badly, and you're crying. I dealt with that. I'd go outside and just walk, man. For what? That's during the nativity controversy.
Yeah, your nighttime walks. Yes.
My nighttime walks that got me on the newspaper.
And we'll have to talk about
Fox
that
17.
one too. Oh my goodness, that's a good one. For people who don't know about that, we'll have to cover that one at a different time.
Notorious,
though, too. But, oh my
not
goodness.
as dangerous as Milo, but notorious.
Yeah, notorious.
Yeah,
yes.
indoor.
Yes. Speaking of dangerous, we only have a couple minutes, but I do want to get into the study that links longer football careers with more severe cases of CTE. This is from The Guardian. It's amazing. It says that the largest study ever conducted on football players with degenerative brain disease, it's called chronic traumatic encephalopathy, nailed it, and which is uncommon, has again found a link between the condition and the prior participation in football. And then I screw up participation.
Yeah, participation's tough, but
encephalopathy isn't, but I can't nail participation. That's 10 o'clock at night for you folks.
Yeah, but prior participation is a little bit...
But... Yeah, I'm not going to give
Nobody's
it to myself.
going to give it to you.
No.
Joe. Nobody.
So, point being, though, that this study looked at the brains of 111 NFL players and found CTE in 110 of them. That's 99% of the cases studied. Now, before we go any further, you have to know that you can only they can only diagnose you with this after death. So a lot of these people are the family around them already assumed there was something going on and there was already problems and wanted to have the brains looked at. But there's a lot more on the other side of the break to talk about this. But my goodness, 111 people in the study, and 110 of them are found to have CTE.
And remember, question of the day, what's the title for someone whose profession it is to shoe horses? You can't cheat. No cheating on the internet. Make sure to call 616-656-2619.
You are now entering Paleo Radio.
Cancer and Joe Elder.
Welcome back to the top of the hour here in studio, 95.3 FM, 1680 AM. This is WPRR, and we are 102.5 FM in the greater Grand Rapids area. Man, we are just growing and growing and growing.
We're moving on up. I wanted to play the Jeffersons, man. I wish we had that.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, I wish, we have to have some kind of party sometime.
A
Paleo radio party.
That makes complete and utter sense.
Yeah, total sense. And we could play records. We could have a fire, you could
play with our Ron Burgundy baseball cards.
Yeah, our Ron Burgundy cards.
Yeah.
That would be a whole bunch of fun. And we got to do something like that, man. Really engage the audience because we really want to get to know everybody. I mean, really kind of in that intimate, weird, strange, and awkward way of cuddling on a PETA-friendly bearskin rug by a fire.
We're down.
We're down with that.
We're down with that.
As long as we can share the same piece of Australian black licorice.
Then everyone can hang out.
It's like, what is that, man? The Lady and the Tramp?
That's right, yeah.
We want to do that. We want to do that with you. With the listener, yes.
Yes, with you, the listener, independently. And I don't know how I'm going to go from that back to CTE and football players, so I'm just going to hard turn.
Yeah, just hard turn it, man. Look, we did it earlier, and now we're doing it again. I mean, this is a big one.
Back to the hard turn.
Yes.
This is, again, a Guardian article about the study that linked longer playing football careers with more severe cases of CTE. And, again, it was 111 people were involved in the study, and 110 people were confirmed to have CTE. And right before the break, we were saying this, that if you can only get diagnosed with CTE after you have passed away. So there's a lot of information that's behind it here, but you can only get it if you have, again, that you've passed away. So that meant family members, people around them were concerned that they might have chronic head injuries. Maybe it was because they weren't speaking. Maybe it was because of different issues that they got early on. But they were studied, and the numbers were massive. And it said the players in the study had played football for an average of 15 years and that they died at the median age of 66 years old. And CTE can only be definitively diagnosed after death. And they say CTE is associated with repeated blows to the head, including concussions, symptoms including difficulty with attention and memory, dementia, mood disorders, and also headaches. So there's a lot to it. But again, a lot of these players played an average of 15 years. So that would tell you that the higher up you go, obviously, the more likely you are to develop CTE. But you may be okay if you're playing in, pee-wee, junior high, and maybe varsity football. I'm saying maybe because that's not a guarantee at all. I mean, right. I don't know what the results are from playing it when you're in at the high school level, but I can say that at the collegiate level, I bet you the average human being goes up by maybe 20 to 30 pounds in almost any position.
Collegiate.
When you go from high school to collegiate. When you go from collegiate to NFL, it may be even a bigger jump.
Here's a monster.
So, I mean, we're talking massive jumps in size, strength, speed of these individuals the higher you go in the ranking, which makes sense because they're bigger, stronger, faster, they're more athletic, they're becoming professionals in the sport.
Yeah, they're paid lots of money because they can crunch people hard.
Yes.
Or endure that crunch.
Yeah, and they say researchers found the most severe cases of CTE in athletes who had played the longest and had the highest levels, obviously, of contact. For example, the 3 high school football players identified with CTE had mild symptoms, but the majority of college and semi-professional players, it said 56% of them, had severe signs of the disease. 86% of professional players had severe CTE. 86% had severe CTE. I mean, we're talking that this is holes in your brain. Like, what happens with CTE, they believe, is that it's scarring on the brain. Your brain gets jolted and it might even tear, and it actually leaves scarring in the brain that eventually can become almost decayed out. I mean, the MRI scans of these people's brains, it looks like mush. It's absolute mush.
In a statement to The Guardian, the NFL said it welcomed McKee's research, said, quote, "We appreciate the work done by Dr. McKee and her colleagues for the value it adds to the ongoing quest for a better understanding of CTE. Case studies, such as those compiled in this updated paper, are important to further advancing the science and progress related to head trauma. The medical and scientific communities will benefit from this publication, and the NFL will continue to work with a wide range of experts to improve the health of current and former NFL athletes. And here's the end part. As noted by the authors, there are still many unanswered questions relating to the cause, incidence, and prevalence of long-term effects of head trauma, such as CTE. The NFL is committed to supporting scientific research into CTE and advancing progress in the prevention and treatment of head injuries. Do you think at this point it's starting to get tiptoeing close to like tobacco lobby stuff?
It's not even
like
it's,
that's
it's
just
totally
what they are.
level.
That they're just
Their idea is as long as we can just hold off the battle. If we can just hold off the battle, we're going to be fine. That's the idea. The game plan is entirely to just put pause on the whole entire thing. You know, I think that's the biggest issue.
Okay, we're going to go real quick.
Yes, sure.
We're going to go to Andy in Merritt, Florida. Look on question of the night. Is that what this is? Are you
question of the night?
Are you a question of the night person?
I'm a question of the night, Jeremiah. How are you doing?
Yeah. All right, Andy. So, okay, man, here's the deal. Joe, why don't you're the one who came up with this fantastic question.
All right,
Valid
Andy.
entry. For help, press star H.
Oh,
By the way, your phone system needs some work.
It seems so, Andy. Well, we'll try to be quick here.
Yeah.
What is the name of the person who comes over, the professional, to shoe your horse?
I believe that would be a farrier.
That is
It is a
true,
farrier,
yes.
yes.
We don't have any applause music, but we can
Yes,
deliver it
we
to
can
you.
applause to you.
Good for you, man.
And imagine a lot more people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
way
just
more
a
people than
lot
just three
more.
clapping. Yes. Yeah, crowds, masses of them for you.
Nickelback is playing.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So we're in hell then. No, okay. So, anyways, Andy, congratulations, man. You get to go into the Paleo Vault. Is there anything in particular you have your mind set on, or you want to just take a look in that sucker?
I have no need at all. I met Jeremiah at ReasonCon, and I just wanted to say hi.
Oh,
well, that's great.
Well, look at that.
Well,
look at
thank
that.
you.
Yes, man. Well,
We're
then
very
that's
happy.
That's a gift to me.
For help, press star
Oh,
H.
yeah.
To re-record, press 1.
Wow.
We're going to
If
go ahead and
finished,
hang up
press
with this
pound.
guy. Okay, I apologize for that, Andy. We're going to make sure to connect with you.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know what? We did give that number. It's the new fancy number. Why is it all the time that whenever there's something new and fancy, there's always problems?
Well, it's us. It's whenever it's new and
It's
fancy
us.
and we're in here.
New-
it seems
yeah,
to-
we have to add
Despite-
that.
I would say that if we didn't have Angela here, it would be a wild disaster because that girl right now, just so you guys know, she's answering phones, running back and forth, running this automated phone machine that's not doing so hot. She's starting to take the manual control of it. She's also writing it down, passing the notes of who's talking. I mean, she is top notch.
Yeah, top notch. She's what makes the show go round. I'm serious in the life thing. It'd be a little bit harder. It'd be a lot harder.
A little bit.
Let's just say it'd be a lot
harder.
harder. We'd have to be racing around anytime there's a caller, and sometimes these phones are a little bit off the charts. And you're sitting there and you're racing back and forth, handing slips of paper with the person's name, where they're calling from, how they're listening, what they want to talk about, and just in time to make sure that it's all set for the commercial break.
Yes.
Right? And then at the end, she's even part of post-production.
Yes,
So, I mean,
she
yeah, a big part of this. So we're really grateful, and we apologize for the technical difficulties.
Well, and just
this
so
is plagued, man. We're
for
plagued.
Andy, we're really sorry for cutting short because,
Yeah.
man, that was going to be a great conversation. He met you at ReasonCon, which was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there, but the next one I can be at now, which will be great.
Well, look, Andy, you know that we now are on from 10 to midnight on Mondays. You've called the show. We're going to make sure that this phone problem does not persist.
That's right.
And we will make sure we will rattle chains and lobby hard.
We shall conquer.
Oh yes, we'll totally conquer. And I did give that number. Angela keeps pointing out this number, 616-656-2619. I thought I gave that number.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
believe so.
positive I did, yes. People at this point tattoo it.
Well, maybe you've taken too many blows to the head, Jeremiah, and you have CTE. No.
No, don't
No.
have that.
But,
Yeah.
man, going back into this, it is insane because they are not just talking about football players. They're saying that CTE was first believed to be primarily impacting boxers. But in recent years, it's increasingly become associated with football, hockey, and even military service. And then, again, like you were talking about the NFL has for years been under sustained scrutiny because of the head trauma players endure. The NFL maintains that player safety is a top priority. However, as recent as 2016, a congressional investigation accused the NFL of seeking to influence CTE research with donations to the National Institute of Medicine. So they were trying to dodge it. Now, what do you think? I think there's two angles. There's two solutions. I'm playing solution guy today. I'm doing Joe's Utopia today. But I think there's two angles we can go at, and I'd like you to tell me which one you think is better, or if you have a different idea, I'd love to hear it. One angle we can go down is giving the players leather helmets. Because no one's going to lead with their head when they know their neck is break.
Right.
They're going to start tackling appropriately because, simply put, you're just not going to do it. It's the reason why people don't break their neck when they play tackle football in the yard. Right? You're not leading with your head when you know your head's going to really get hurt. When you put the helmet on, I think people have a tendency to think it's RAM. And I've seen players in my career, my limited career as a high school player, I've seen people that do that. The other angle I think that you take from it is you just ask the question in a philosophical way, are people okay with enduring this much pain to play the sport? And if they are, especially because it seems to be people that are professional or seeking it at a higher level, that can you just wager that someone says, would you be okay with taking permanent possible paralysis and brain damage for 10 years and become a world-recognized millionaire in many cases?
That's exactly what it's been. I mean, look, I don't believe that we should outlaw stuff like sumos.
Yeah.
You know, like if someone wants to be super fat and end up having like major time heart disease and other kinds of maladies. If you want to live that and do that, I mean, look.
But then get your back rubbed in a hot tub like that's your own on top of the mountains in Japan. That'd be
people
pretty cool.
do stuff like that all the time. I have a friend, actually, a listener to the show, a good friend of mine, actually married, performed the marriage, officiated the marriage of him and his wife. He's one of those guys, man, who's always blasting metal. Man, he's works on metal. So you're always seeing the burning hot fire that's coming out of your torch all the time, the kind of special equipment that he uses. And he was talking about to create he created something, actually, that was for our daughter, and it was in honor of her and her passing. And it says Ohana. That's from Lilo and Stitch. Mm-hmm. Means family, and it's red lettering, and he's got it. The backing to it is this metal, and it's got this really. I don't know if it's titanium. What it is? Beautiful. Steel. It might just be steel. Beautiful though. But the process to get this. Long story short, the process to make it that kind of sparkly design to get the light coming off that involves a lot of smoke. Man, you're gonna. He even just said it's flat out real dangerous.
Yes.
You're going to die from it. Probably.
Yeah. He could.
Yeah.
And the question is, do you wager that for creating the work of art? Stick around, folks. We'll be right back.
Paleo Radio? Join the club. Support our work by visiting patreon.com/Paleo Radio today.
Back to Eagle and Dragon.
We return with another epic 15 minutes of awesomeness here on Paleo Radio, here in the studio, 95.3 FM, 1680 AM, and again, 102.5 FM in the greater Grand Rapids area, and streaming all over the world.
We are streaming all over the world, and we just posted on the World Wide Web this very manlicious picture of us.
Is manlicious.
Manlicious, totally true. People got to go check it out. Man, you got a fancy haircut, man.
Thanks, buddy.
You actually made it the premier joke, dude, at the Bob.
I did it. My
was.
haircut shows that I support the LGBTQ community. If
you go, you can find out why.
Yeah, you can just go look. Actually, I'm not going to tell you on the airwaves. You got to go see it for yourself. Go online there.
Yep, and then you can see my mustache. It's not quite Mr. Pringle's mustache yet, but it's awfully darn close.
Pretty good, though.
It's getting there.
I'm loving it.
It's actually pretty manly, dude. I'm feeling.
It's powerful.
It's like it's basically like Hercules had his power in his hair. My power is just in my stash.
Well, and don't forget too. You also got the chops.
I do. I have.
You got the chops.
I have the Starflyer 59 chops.
It's great.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
These chops. Somebody. Who was it recently? They're like, you look like you're out of the 70s. And I'm like, I'm kind of going a little for that, but I'm kind of also going for Gangs of New York.
What about, Victorian era?
Man.
How about that?
Yeah.
There's a fighter, an old English fighter named Brad Pickett, used to fight in the 2000s, but he came out with a hairstyle similar to that, and I envied it. I still envy yours now.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I
you're
appreciate
welcome.
it, yes.
You know who I don't envy?
Who's that?
The people that are getting kidnapped by R. Kelly and held at his house.
Yeah.
I don't envy those people at all.
The part of his brainwashed cult.
Yes.
Yeah, this is an interesting article. It's over at BuzzFeed, and I don't want to scroll too far up here and get lost because there's a lot of storytelling in this. There's not a lot of these kind of nut graphs at the beginning with a real quick who, what, where, when, why, how. I mean, this is nitty-gritty BuzzFeed news. Yeah. Inside the Pied Piper of R&B's cult. Question, yeah, look at that. R. Kelly is holding women against their will in a cult. This is according to parents. They told police. As the R&B legend tours the country this summer, parents have told police that R. Kelly is running an abusive cult that's tearing families apart. 3 former members of Kelly's inner circle told BuzzFeed News similar stories. So you've got parents a whole bunch of these parents who are like, look, our girls are in a cult.
Yes.
Like with R. Kelly. They're all kind of in different places and they can't do what they want to do. He's kind of shepherding them and everything. So that automatically would be some alarm bells. That would be some red flags, I suppose. And then, saying, well, it's parents, maybe they just don't understand the drive for fame. But then you're like, wait a second. The description of this is pretty bad. Like, this doesn't sound very good. And on top of it, you have people, 3 former members of this inner circle that are telling stories, basically the same thing. And saying that these people are willing to do almost anything for stardom. And of course they are.
Yes, they are. Well, and he's taking advantage of that. It says that this is, again, you were talking about no nut graphs here. It's kind of the little bit of the skinny stuff. But we have to remember it's from BuzzFeed, but this has been confirmed from other sources as well. But the story that is being told is by somebody named Jay, who's explaining their personal experience. He said that R. Kelly met his daughter backstage at a concert in Atlanta earlier in a couple months before the real event started happening. He said soon enough he'd invited her to fly out to an Indio concert on his own dime. Jay, the person we're talking about here, said that she'd heard about the past sexual misconduct accusations against Kelly, but wasn't overly worried. She is a fiercely devoted stage mom. She and her husband of 22 years, Tim, a car dealer, had moved from Memphis to Atlanta to help their eldest child's career, and they were confident that they could protect their daughter. In the back of our minds, we were thinking that she could be around him if I was with her, Jay said. It didn't really hit home, even with the Aaliyah situation. Now that I think about it, age ain't nothing but a number, but you don't think about that. You grew up with that song, and you like the song. So, like, with her, she's thinking, my young daughter, he's here to cultivate her career. Now, quick push 2 years later, Jay and Tim are in a desperate fight to bring their daughter home. Yeah. And it says BuzzFeed News verified their identities and full names in public records, but is withholding the alleged victim's full name and their parents' last name to protect her privacy. Mm-hmm. As part of their efforts, the mother closed their businesses, became a relentless amateur detective, and shared her findings with the FBI and police in 2 states. But their daughter isn't a missing person, at least not in the eyes of the law.
Yeah.
She still lives with Kelly and says she's doing fine, despite her parents telling the police that she's being held against her will.
You're allowed to be in
what they call a cult.
You're allowed to be in a cult.
Yes.
I mean, it's
You're
true.
Right.
It's weird and everything, but if they're adults, they're allowed to be in a cult. There's a lot of them around here.
There are.
There are. I've actually been part of at least one in my lifetime. I can say it from experience. I'll wear that.
Is there something, too, though, where I don't want to make this connection in a joking way, but I'm saying with Jim Jones, when the senator went down to Ghana and started talking to them, Guyana, and started talking to them, and Jim Jones and all the people said, yes, we're fine. We love it here. And they're all cheering and clapping. But meanwhile, he's getting notes coming his way. They're saying, get me out of here. I don't know how to leave. Right. Who knows? But you're right. I mean, people do have the chance to say it. It says, though, in the article, 3 former members of Kelly's inner circle, Cheryl Mack, Kitty Jones, and Asante McGee, provided details supporting the parents' worst fears, that he had 6 women live in the properties rented by Kelly in Chicago and Atlanta suburbs, and that he controls every aspect of their lives, dictating what they eat, how they dress, when they bathe, when they sleep, and how they engage in sexual encounters that he records. The last time that Jay saw her daughter was December 1st of 2016.
This guy's a real pimp.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's just basically. I mean, he just is. Well, I mean, he's not pimping people out. He's like a harem master.
Yeah, he's a harem master.
He's a
exactly
harem
right.
master.
He's running a harem.
Yeah.
He's got
this is old fashioned, man.
Like
We've all seen
concubines.
this. It is concubinage, and they all love him, and they all say that he's
the
helping their
greatest
career. He's the greatest. Look, I've got this awesome house, and imagine being in that situation, man. I mean, that'd be terrible to be in a situation where you're looking up to somebody who's a major time hero of yours that you've looked up to, that's got tons of money, that's got fame, and is in the news all the time, and interviewed by people all the time, and can definitely get you places. You've gone to parties. You went to a concert with him. You've seen that lifestyle, and he's putting you up in a house.
Yeah.
And the only rule is you got to simply play a little bit of secretary with him.
Yeah.
And I know that's terrible to say, but I mean, that's...
Well, a lot of it is secretary.
That's what I'm saying, a lot of it, yeah.
The reports were saying that they'd have to call him to ask to leave the room in the house even if he's not there. That if they're going to go from one room to the other in the house, they have to ask for his permission. And, I mean, and then him controlling what they eat, where they go, when they bathe, him recording the sexual encounters. That could be, maybe not, but it could be for blackmail purposes.
Yeah, Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Is that her name, Maggie Gyllenhaal? What is that?
Gyllenhaal?
Gyllenhaal. Yeah. I remember that movie. But I mean, the thing is, it's one thing to be a movie. It's another thing to be like, oh no, this is like a lot of different girls that are quite impressionable, obviously. But again, I hate saying this. I mean, dude, I watch people who give money to Benny Hinn.
Yes.
That guy's just a flat out liar.
Yeah.
That guy is a cult leader. That guy is a
That's the guy that slaps people with coats,
yeah,
right?
He's
a coat slapper.
Let the bodies hit the floor guy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Epic.
him. But I knew a lady, a grandma, who was doling out serious loot to these people over at Trinity Broadcast Network on the regular. And I say, man, she's impressionable. She's an impressionable young lady. And she's given lots of money, and she's doing this kind of thing where it's like, she's saying you can't even talk bad about him because you can't talk against God's anointed.
Yes.
And that was the kind of dialogue to have. That's the kind of brainwashery that kind of goes on with this.
It's just like Scientology. Same story where there's family members breaking up with family. It's not as structured because it's not a full-on people signing billion-dollar contracts and all that weird shiznit, but it is some crazy stuff. But this is what Jay says about meeting your daughter the last time she saw her in December 1st, 2016. She says, quote, "It was as if she was brainwashed. She looked like a prisoner. It was horrible. I hugged her, but she kept saying that she was in love with Kelly, and he's the one who cares for her, and I don't know what to do. I hope that if I get her back, I can get her treatment for the victim of cults. They can reprogram her, but I wish I could have stopped it from happening." Mm-hmm. But you're right. When you're talking about what you see with the extravagance, I mean, this is the same thing that brought people to guys like Jim Jones. I mean, maybe people will think we're a little crazy for drawing this connection between what R. Kelly's doing and Jim Jones, but it's a type of manipulative, controlling behavior that you can draw a pattern from with people that are very influential, but they have a way of sneaking people in and getting to subvert them to kind of do their bidding in a way. And
he takes it to a seriously hardcore level. I mean, you hear these stories about, people, hey, I can get you connected with this. I've got connections. I know people. And you've got that person. Those people are real. The world's got tons of those people. But then they say, and you know what? I've got this house you should stay in. And I'm going to tell you what to eat every day. I mean,
yes.
Seriously, man, that's taking it to... That is creepy town level stuff. But at the same time, I mean, the police are correct to say it's not a crime. It's not a missing person. The person claims that they're okay.
Yeah. They do. But then you have people from the inside that are saying what's going on in there. So you're at this crossroads where, according to Mac Jones and McGee, the women living in Kelly's Duluth, Georgia guest house or Chicago recording studio last summer included a 31-year-old den mother who trained the newcomers on how Kelly liked to be pleasured sexually. She's been best friends since high school with the girl that videotapes them. A 25-year-old woman who's also been part of Kelly's scene for over 7 years. A recent arrival, a 19-year-old model who's been photographed in public with Kelly and named on the music gossip websites. a rarity among women in his circle. An Atlanta songwriter who began her relationship with Kelly around 2009 when she was 19. She's now 26. And an 18-year-old singer from Polk County, Florida. Max said the Florida singer is Kelly's favorite girl, his number one girl.
So he's got a bunch of ladies in different places, man. I mean, what about Hugh Hefner?
Yeah. I mean, well, what about a den
that guy
mother?
has it. Yeah, a den mother.
Like a lady saying this is how he likes to be sexually treated. Who's teaching these people that he brings in, and
what does the law say on this, man?
I have no idea.
I guess it's been a long time since we've talked about this this magical black art.
You want to make it creepier?
Black magic.
Is that if he could say, and I know this is a slap around, but if he could say it's for a religious purpose, he'd probably have some legal standing, which is insane. But if he said, I believe in the biblical interpretation of marriage and having concubines and running a harem. And there's obviously some laws that are being violated.
What are the laws on harems, man?
What are the laws
Seriously.
on billion-dollar contracts with Scientologists?
Yeah.
Cults just really intrigue me. They're insane. But I will always stick to what Mark Twain said when he was going back and he was looking at how people can be influenced. And he said it's always easier to fool people than to convince them that they have been fooled. And I think that's true. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back with more amazing Paleo Radio.
And make sure, give us a call, 616-656-2619.
Now back to Joe and Jeremiah.
You know, we had a caller, Joe, who won the question of the day.
We did.
Yeah, we did. It was Andy. And we were really bummed because we weren't able to talk to him longer. He said, he's like, hey, I got to meet Jeremiah and his wife at ReasonCon, and it was really cool. So I went and I checked it out. I said, oh, my goodness, man, we're talking the guy from Orly Radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly rational edutainment.
I love it.
Yeah, Orly Radio Podcast at Gmail. You got to check it out. Live streams on Fridays at 21:30 Eastern Time. I like that he does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 21:30. That's a smart
Some military
maneuver.
time
yeah,
there.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, 9:30.
Well, 9:30 Eastern Time. And, you know, and he's going for that whole ET thing instead of EST.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, you got to go check him out, and you can check him out on Facebook. It's Orly, and he's got a cool owl on it. And, of course, we're big fans of owls around here.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's got a cool owl. But wanted to give a big shout-out, man, to him over that.
Yeah, I want to give him a shout-out, too, for saying mostly rational, which is what we are as well. We can't call ourselves absolutely rational because no human being is. So we're wading through it just like anybody else. But, man, I like that.
Yeah, and the debate
mostly rational, very humble of him.
The debate never ends here.
Never.
It really doesn't. This isn't. We don't approach these mics and go, and today we're going to end the debate.
Yes.
We're going to settle
We're going to put
scores.
an end to CTE today. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's why we're not preachy. You're not going to hear us get on your case too badly.
I will say this is a moment behind the curtain a little bit, but it's worth noting that there are people that will write us. I know they write Jeremiah independently. They'll write me independently, and sometimes they write us both, and they'll say, you know, you guys, you can tell that you're friends. You can tell that you guys talk a lot and that you guys have a good rapport. But there's a lot of things that you guys don't really agree on, but you tend to have a show together. And how does that work? And the reason why is just what you said. Jeremiah and I don't have this conversation like we're going to solve it. We have our conversations about where we're at the time that we're having the conversation. Mm-hmm. And the idea is that we will always continue to see each other. We'll always continue to talk to each other. And the conversation is going to continue to roll on. And when you don't have that finite, I'm going to win it mentality, you tend to have better conversation. And what I mean by that is think about when you're on social media. How often are you writing to respond to somebody to have kind of a bow to the crowd moment? Like, and I win. And if you're doing that, are we even talking about moving the ball in a direction where people understand it? Or should we all just go up and just start bowing? Because, I mean, and I think that sticks to what we're talking about here on the show, that it makes us a little bit different than other shows, is that Jeremiah and I openly disagree on quite a few things.
Yeah.
But we know how to engage each other and have conversations politically that allows us to be friends while disagreeing. And that is becoming so rare, it's scary.
Yes.
So rare, it's
Actually,
scary.
that was something. I'll give another shout out to somebody, man. Zach Law.
Yeah.
From Zacrilege Cast. A big, huge fan of that guy. You know, he said that it's disorienting, in fact, that it's unsettling, this division that you see all over the place, the separation that you see, the partisan stuff, the tribal stuff. And
Absolutely.
I told him, I said, you know, people need to be, and we said this before, people need to be nimble navigators. They really do. This is treacherous terrain. And we've talked on this show, and I mentioned it to him privately, but I said, look, you know, we've talked about the retribalization of man. That I don't think, when it sounds like, wow, that's an interesting thing, retribalization. Man, tribes are violent.
Yeah.
Try switching tribes. Hey, I'm just going to go over to this tribe over here and give it a shot. Try that.
See how it works.
See how it works. You're going to get a big reaction from that. You're going to see, and I told him, I said, you know, we've theorized on this show about how alignments will be realigned, and how some people may be surprised to find people allied that they would not have imagined. They would have said, well, I thought those people were on the opposite sides of the spectrum. Well, they are on some stuff, but not on others. And because people are figuring out, how do you deal with the realignment? Some people are like Dan Arrell, who, I mean, he is an open endorser of violence. That's what he does every day. Okay?
Yeah.
That's what he does. He wears it on his sleeve. Okay?
Yeah, he does.
So you've got that. You have a different approach that says, look, we have different people from different perspectives, and we source and cite from people across the spectrum to try to get a good understanding for where people are coming from.
Yeah.
Because when we wake up and we open our eyes, we're surrounded by about 7 billion people, and most of whom disagree with us.
Yes. Yeah. And I think there is something, too, where you have your Dan Arrells, but you also have your David Rubins, where it doesn't matter if you are an absolute propagator of the most epic, ignorant BS of all time. I'll sit cross-legged with you across the table and interview you like you're a respectable person. And that, too, doesn't really get us very far either, in terms of there are levels to how you challenge people with bad ideas. And that's why I think we suffer from debate in a major way, because debate is so final. It goes right back to the main point of the idea is we're going to have this argument for 2 hours, and by the end of this argument, someone's going to win, and that's going to be it. But that used to be the norm. Now the norm is we don't have a 2-hour debate. We watch 1-minute-long videos. We like it. We share it, and then we argue in the comment section with the people that disagree with us about the video we liked that was 30 seconds long. That is not debating.
And most of them aren't even watching the video because we've seen the analytics and a lot of this stuff, and we know that the Facebook Gold Star viewers, like 3 to 10 seconds, and 80% plus have it on mute.
Yes.
So, I mean, we've really dumbed down the conversation. I don't mean to be rude.
Part of it, I think, does come from the idea, and this is funny because we had a whole different topic we're going to talk about, but we're just kind of spitballing on it. But part of the idea, I think, does come from this concept of every single person on social media is promoting their own ideas and themselves, and it's all about carving out a space for you. And I think a lot of people view friends like they view fans, that these people expect me to be a way, and so I'm going to, in kind, respond that way. And it's just a self-feeding loop of you're constantly playing that game. And everybody is in everyone else's comment section only to say with the idea of, I believe it's valid for you to hear my point now. And regardless of the conversation before, I mean, the question why, let's put a litmus test to this. If next time you see one of those huge rambling political arguments, scroll down and see how many people like comments above before they comment themselves. See someone's comment and scroll up and see if they've liked anything in the comments before. Because they didn't. They may have just jumped spring water right in. And most people do.
Here's my 2 cents.
Let me just tell you what I think. And I believe it just comes from the idea that we all believe that we are the sender and everyone else is the receiver. And there's no true dialogue going on. It's virtue signal after virtue signal after virtue signal. Come back to my team. I talk the way you talk the way I talk. Let's like each other. Let's talk about the people that don't talk the way we do. This is how we play the game. And through doing that, you can perpetuate yourself. And that is what our social media landscape is. And I think that kills discourse, and it's even killing political discourse.
I'll tell you what else kills political discourse is war.
Yes.
And,
yes, it does.
Yes. It kills political discourse for some folks anyway. And so we got war here. Representative Walter Jones appeals to President Trump to get U.S. out of Afghanistan. This is found over at antiwar.com. It says right here, so a letter to President Donald Trump, White House, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest. Dear Mr. President, many of us in the U.S. House of Representatives believe we've been denied our sacred duty to debate and declare war. See, I love even how it started.
Yep, good for
Man,
him.
that sounds beautiful. I love this. You could say that I'm disappointed by this. Disappointed because after 16 years in Afghanistan, Congress deserves another vote on this conflict. Disappointed because almost $1 trillion of taxpayers' money has been spent with no direct goal or strategy. And most importantly, I'm disappointed because we continue to lose American lives. So in all those, he shows disappointments. We've been in there 16 years, man.
Yeah.
That's a long time. I remember
16
people
years,
saying
yeah.
we wouldn't be. It wouldn't be long.
Oh, couldn't you?
I remember
didn't
that.
you think that was just nuts?
Oh yeah. Oh, we'll be in and out.
So people who don't understand cultural differences in terms of when you flip it on its head, that's just as easy as it is. I'm not going to get too much into it because we have more of the article to go through. But the idea that it doesn't matter who comes in to save you, it's going to be okay. If we had an issue with the president of the United States and China said, you know what, America, it's just falling apart, we'll come over and we'll solve it for you. And we'll be just in and out. That's ludicrous.
Yeah, it's like when they were saying that people in Iraq would be throwing roses.
Yeah.
They were really saying that.
Yeah, that's insane.
Those were real remarks. Oh yes, they're just going to love us. They're going to throw roses. They're going to throw beautiful flowers, and it's going to be a great thing. They're going to look at us and say, "Look at the liberators! Look at that!" And those people, no, it didn't work out that way.
It did not.
But right here it says, "Sir, I'm writing today because you seem to have had a change of heart on this issue. Number one," and it lists a couple different selections. Number one. In August of 2011, you agreed with Ron Paul and said the U.S. was, quote, wasting lives and money in Iraq and Afghanistan. 2. In 2012, you referred to Afghanistan as a, quote, complete waste and declared it was, quote, time to come home. 3. The next year, you said on Twitter, do not allow our very stupid leaders to sign a deal that keeps us in Afghanistan through 2024 with all costs by the USA. And number 4. You also tweeted that year, quote, let's get out of Afghanistan. Our troops are being killed by the Afghanis we trained, and we waste billions there. Nonsense. Rebuild the USA. And he agrees with all those remarks.
I do too.
Yeah. And I thought that was interesting. So does the 31st the Commandant of the Marine Corps, my friend and unofficial advisor, General Chuck Krulak. As he said in a recent email to me, quote, no one has ever conquered Afghanistan, and many have tried. We'll join the list of nations that have tried and failed.
Let him reiterate that. Historically, yeah. I mean, this is why people, get a history book open, folks. Just what he said. No one has ever conquered Afghanistan, and many have tried. We will join the list of nations that have tried and failed. It's pretty definitive. And he goes on and says, Mr. President, that is why I'm asking you to review this type of thinking before approving any other troop level increases from General Mattis. Mm-hmm. I believe you would see a great benefit and wisdom in asking Congress to debate and vote on troop level increases as well. You would then have the American people and their elected officials share a decision to send more of our sons and daughters into harm's way. Once you come to a consensus, I suggest you publicly go to the American people and the U.S. military to explain the benchmarks you choose for Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. Previous administrations have not been able to clarify those endpoints, which is unfair to taxpayers and our troops. In the end, we all share this responsibility, and it is time not only for Congress but also the American people to have a say. 16 years is enough.
Yes. It's totally true. He ends by saying Afghanistan is the graveyard of empires. We do not want a tombstone to read United States of America. Respectfully, Walter B. Jones, Member of Congress, Republican, North Carolina. We wanted to read that entire thing. We love that appeal. We wish Representative Jones the very best. We're definitely there. So, Yep. 616-656. Is it 2619, Joe?
Yes, it is.
2619. Give us a call. We'll be back in about 2 minutes.
For debates, interviews, or speeches, contact Paleo Radio Show at gmail.com.
You love to hate 'em, you hate to love 'em. You just can't get enough of 'em, you sick freaks. Paleo Radio's on the air.
If you love Paleo Radio, and we know that you do, you can support us by going to patreon.com/Paleo Radio and donating to the show. All of our shows are free. You can definitely get them for free and always for free. But if you like what we do, you like the way we do the show, what we talk about, the topics, anything of that sort, you can donate to us. And we have extra special, super cool content that we can give you if you do.
Yes. And, speaking of free, I just want to do a quick shout out to my man, Atticus Prime.
Yes.
He's allowing me to read this book, Dangerous, by Milo. I actually have it in my hands right here in the studio. I took a picture of myself reading it with this kind of startled face and a really cool straw, actually, because I got to drink everything out of a straw with this masterful mustachio that I've got. But I only wanted to say that just to say thank you for allowing me to read that book at no cost. I didn't have to go and buy it. And the only condition is that I jot my thoughts in the margins. So I underline, I highlight, if I want to doodle in it, whatever it is. But that when I give it back to him, it's a little bit wrecked. So we're going to go ahead right now. We're going to go to Chris calling from Zealand. He's listening on the phone app. Thank you for calling Paleo Radio, Chris.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Ah, it's going good. Yes,
How are you?
This is Chris from Cellar Door Skeptics.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are on at a time that I'm not at work, so I can actually listen and comment, whereas normally I have to listen postpartum.
That's
what
a
I'm
win
saying.
in itself right
Yes,
there, buddy.
that's
So
it.
happy to hear it.
Yes.
That means you can join us one of these days, too.
I know if
Possibly.
you guys switch to this time, I can.
We are already switched,
we
my man.
already are.
This
This is us right now. Yes.
Yes.
10 to midnight now.
We'll be making deals, but in the meantime, how are you? What do you want to chat about?
Awesome. So you were earlier. You guys were talking about the CTE study and the link to the football and what they're actually talking about now. Correct?
Yes, we were.
Yes. And so, I guess, not to be the contrarian of the conversation here, but I kind of wanted
Love
to
it.
point out that I had a problem with the scientific article that went along with the whole post and stuff. Because for me, the bigger problem is that I didn't feel that the scientific article showed anything other than a small, a soft correlation between it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. Is there any specific data in mind that you had that you were saying that it was a soft correlation? Or I'm just asking for the sake of not having the answers in front of me.
Sure, no problem. So the biggest problem I had, and I guess the study actually kind of pointed it out itself. If you go into the actual scientific article, they talk about how basically there was no real true blind study here. A lot of the people that were samples for this and that were submitted for this knew what the study was, and they were all deceased. So the study was somewhat biased, and I'm not saying that that's wrong, but the way that the media is making this out to be is it's this huge conclusion where, in my opinion, we just have softer data that goes along with it.
Sure.
So, for example, the study, surveyed, I think it was 200 and something people, and over a whole ton of them showed signs of CTE, but a lot of them were surveyed, and they were deceased players that were shown to be actually, their relatives wanted them part of the whole study.
Yes. Yeah, which is what I mentioned that too, because the only way to test for CTE is after death.
Yes.
So you're right. That is a decent hole in the study in the sense that how many people that don't think they have CTE are going to let their brain get cut open and looked at by scientists if they don't believe they have it, because we can only tell after they're dead.
100% true. Whereas I think that we should start making it kind of like a donor list, right? You could go sign up for this because, for example, I didn't participate in sports, but I would love to see if I have some sort of CTE because I would be part of either the pros or the negative in that study.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if only we could find more people as reasonable as you, Chris, that would be good.
Yeah.
I've got my
Right.
body to donate to science if they want it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll want a toe or something by the time I'm done with it, I'd hope. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do have pretty good toes, Joe.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, rumor on the streets in
Thank
town.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
My toes are the talk of the town.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Anyways, is there anything else, Chris, you want to share about CTE?
Yeah, nope. I just,
All
like
right.
I said, I thought that was interesting, and I just wanted to kind of point that side out.
Yeah,
All right.
awesome.
Thank you so
and
much, yes.
before we let you go, can you give us a pitch for Cellar Door Skeptics? When are you guys on?
We are on every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, live on Spreaker. You can catch us, Mr. Hannah and Mr. Tanner, and we talk everything from politics to democratic socialism and our famous, most amazing science segments that we put a lot of effort into. This week we actually have voter. We're going to be talking with an ex-county clerk nominee for the Kent County District, and we're going to be talking about why everybody should be voting next week, August 8th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, man. There's your 1-2 punch. You get Paleo Radio 10 p.m. on Monday nights. You get Cellar Door Skeptics 9 p.m. on Tuesdays. And on Spreaker live, so you can actually comment on that on Spreaker. So,
hey, real quick before you go, man. Last thing, how big of a hit have you guys taken from that Twitter war that Sacrilege has got in with Hannah? Wasn't it, Joe? Didn't you encourage?
Yeah. Oh man, you're gonna have to look it up. We've encouraged.
Yeah.
It seems like there were so many white atheists fighting with each other. We already have our battles. We were supposed to be embattled with a WWF match with Mr. Dan Arrow, and
he's
one of his
commie
choices.
Out.
And so we figured we could start another one. And Sacrilege asked who we thought, and we figured you two would be a good formidable match to start a nice white atheist fight again. We don't have enough of them.
We could. It would probably be about our taste in beer. I despise beer, and he loves it.
There it is. There's the debate. So that's great.
We'll have to have you on to host it.
Yeah.
There
anyway,
we go.
All right, man.
Thank you,
good talking
Chris.
to you. Yeah, thank you for calling. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good night.
And hey, we've gotten the word from the producer. Look, if you have been trying to call, the station has switched lines, and so a lot of times people will go and, let's say, for example, read a status update that I posted on Facebook during the show telling you to call the old number. And so that happened. It's totally true. And so we've had the phone's just been ringing off the charts. It's just constant bam, bam, bam. Listen, don't stop trying to call, but don't call the old number, okay?
Yes.
You have to call 616-656-2619.
2619.
Yes, 2619. That will get you on the show. Somebody or a bunch of people were trying frantically a moment ago. We were trying to talk to Chris about that, and boy, that was just going off the charts over there. But speaking of off the charts, dude, Terminator comes to life. Facebook shuts down artificial intelligence after it developed its own language.
After it develops its own language. How creepy is that?
It's even creepier than the 30 people with the whooping cough over in the Amish community over here in Michigan.
Okay, so let's hit the Amish real quick. Then we're going to talk about AI. We can do this.
We got what? About 4 minutes.
3 minutes. Says
3
Angela.
minutes.
We
All
can
right.
do this. Okay,
We are
very
going for
quickly.
it. Yep.
Whooping cough spreading amongst Amish in West Michigan, which is a very terrible thing. This is out of Cold Water. Let me go up to the article. Whooping cough is spreading amongst Amish residents in southwestern Michigan, according to the local health official. Val Newton, Prevention Services Director for the Branch Hillsdale St. Joseph community, told the agency's board Thursday that whooping cough, or pertussis, has infected up to 30 members of the St. Joseph's County's Amish community. The Associated Press, citing the Daily Reporter of Coldwater, reported that there is concern that the highly contagious bacterial infection could spread to neighboring Branch and Hillsdale counties. Pertussis can be prevented with vaccines and treated with antibiotics, but those aren't real. Newton says the first area family affected by the whooping cough declined treatment, the AP reported, because, vaccines aren't real. So, this is yet again, here's another example of people not getting vaccines, not being treated, and I understand for religious purposes. I'm not going to say there should be a law that makes everyone vaccinate, because that would be ridiculous, but there isn't a law on teasing people or ridiculing them for being ignorant enough not to vaccinate when they obviously should. And there are Somali communities in Minnesota and Amish communities in Michigan that are being ignorant right now.
They
and
just
that's about what I have to say
need
about
more vitamin C. They need to eat more kiwi.
Yes, more.
They need to eat a lot more kiwi.
More kiwis.
You're good if they just eat some kiwis, they'll be fine.
That's right.
So right here, moving on to the Terminator as we're chomping down the time. Here we go. In an interesting bit, this is over at the Inquisitor. In a bit of an interesting and somewhat frightening story, Facebook recently had to shut down an artificial intelligence system they were working on because it got out of hand. It isn't that the work start to become too much or that it was too hard, but Digital Journal revealed that the AI actually stopped using English and began using its own language that it created. While it isn't the first time this has happened, it was concerning enough for the developers that they needed to cease working on it. Yeah. According to Fast Company Design, the new AI from Facebook created a language that may have come across as nonsense and gibberish to humans, but the computer understood it. Not only was it able to understand its own new language, but it used it to communicate with other artificial intelligence systems to complete the tasks assigned to them.
Yes. So there's an article, like we said, it's The Inquisitor. You can look it up, and it gives a good example of how this happened. But basically, the computer decided to speak in a language that it viewed as a little bit faster, and it was gibberish English for examples between two computers, Bob and Alice. One says, I can, I, everything else. Alice responds, balls have 0 to me, 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 too. And it's like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Well, the computer is talking to itself about giving itself bits of data, and one's asking, can I have everything but what I have? And the repetitive to me's is exactly how many Alice is willing to give, which is just insane. So basically, they're finding that the computer is talking to basically two AIs talking to each other in a language that we couldn't understand.
Hey.
That gets a little creepsky.
Is there a number at Facebook we can call to complain?
Yeah, there's a number.
Yeah, number. We should look it up. Maybe some of our listeners can go online.
Yes.
And look it up. I don't mean to rickroll all of you, but it ain't there.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's right.
There's no number that's like, hey, I think I should call Facebook and report something.
That's right.
Your AI stuff's really getting out of control over there.
I will say this too. Mark Zuckerberg was just on Twitter, and he had been talking. He was grilling some meat in his backyard. You know, being all normal.
Yeah, normal.
And trying to be, hey, look at me, I'm being normal now. Am I being good enough human?
Yeah.
And he was saying that he thought that AI wasn't to be worried about, and that it was going to be working no problem, and he didn't see the downside. And Elon Musk wrote back and said, I don't think you're very educated on the issue.
Yeah.
Which is just to say that there are some inherent dangers of developing an intelligence within itself. So there you have it.
All right, there you have it. That's the show, folks. You got to make sure to find us on Patreon, patreon.com/Paleo Radio. Find us at Paleo Radio Show on Spreaker. Of course, we're at Secular Media Group, and you can find us on Facebook. We're verified with a check mark at facebook.com/Paleo Radio.
And thank you guys very much for listening. We will be back next week, 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. again every Monday, and we will see you next week.